Okay, good day. Now, this is analytical geometry. Now we're looking at circles, and we're looking at the circles with center being the origin. So when you have the center origin, it means that the coordinate here is 0, 0. Then we are saying if we are to say R or P, if you to say P is X units away and also Y units away. So you have got Y here and the X. That's what is our coordinate here is. So what happens now is that the R that we are looking for, we're talking of here, is our radius. So this is our radius. So this is the radius, okay? Distance from the center to the circumference. Now we are saying, how do we get that radius? We're going to use Pythagoras theorem here. So we're going to say, what is it? Your R squared is going to be equals to X squared plus Y squared is equals to X squared plus Y squared. So this is actually the equation of the circle. It's coming from the, what is it? From the equation, from the Pythagoras theorem, okay? So we just need to know that equation of a circle with the center origin is X squared plus Y squared is equals to R squared, okay? That's all. R being the radius, your X and Y are your coordinates, okay? So when I just try to look and attempt some questions here that we have, we're saying the first question saying, determine the equation of the circle with the center at the origin and the radius of 4. So what do we know? We know that for A radius of 4, so we know that X squared plus Y squared is equals to R squared. What is our R? Our R is equals to 4 units. So it's going to be X squared plus Y squared is equals to 4 squared, which is X squared plus Y squared is equals to 16. Okay, that's what we're having there. That's your first one. That's your first solution. Question B is saying a radius of root 10. Now, again, here we have got the radius of root 10. We have our circle X squared plus Y squared is equals to root of 10 squared. Now, when we square the root, what happens there? You get, what is it? Y plus Y squared is equals to 10. That's what it means, okay? So if you say here, if you say root 10, you square that, then you square that, you get 10, okay? So in other words, when we say root, you must know that root means, I can just write here maybe. So when you say root of A, it means that it's A to the power 1 over 2. So when you say 1 over 2 times that, it means that it's going to give us 1, leaving us with 10 only, okay? Now let's move on to C. They are saying it has to pass through, it's passing through the point -2, -2, and -4. So when you're given the coordinates here, what should we do now to get our equation of the circle? We need to find R. So R is the one in question now. R is the one in question first. So R is in question, okay? Now, what do we do now with the R? We know that R is equal to X squared plus Y squared. R squared is equals to X squared plus Y squared. What is X squared here? X is equals to -2 squared. What is Y squared? Is equal to -4 squared. What do we get there? We get -2. Just gonna put in brackets, -2 squared plus -4 squared. We get 20. So our R squared is equal to 20. R squared is equal to 20. So what do we know now? If R squared is equal to 20, we're just gonna write our equation, X squared plus Y squared is gonna be equals to 20 because R squared is equal to 20. There is no need for you to find the root for 20 because already we know that R squared is the one that we should substitute with here, okay? Now, then we move on to D, or should we move on to what? Now I think now you've mastered it. To D. D is passing through root of what? Root of 3 and 1. Now what do we do? R squared is equals to X squared plus Y squared, which is equals to X squared root 3 squared plus 1 squared. What do we get? Root 3 squared is going to be 3 plus 1 is going to be 4. So R squared is equals to 4. Then we have our equation x squared, so r squared is equal to 4. X squared plus y squared is equal to 4, like that. That's how you get to your answer. Okay, so I hope you also finish up with the last two. Now we know what to do. Now let's move on to the next one. Type of question that can come. They are saying point point -2 and b lies on the circle x squared plus y squared is equal to 13. Determine the value of of b. Now, what do we know now? What do we know now? We know that if we say x squared plus y squared, we get r squared. So now what are we given here? R squared is equal to 13 here. R squared is equal to 13. Okay, what is our x here? Our x is equal to -2. What is our y? Our y is equal to b. Can you see that? Now, what do we do from there? We are going to say, okay, b squared plus -2 squared is equals to 13, because r squared is equal to 13. Then we are going to say 2 squared is going to, -2 squared is going to give us 4. Then b squared is going to be equals to 13 minus 4. What is 13 minus 4? Is equal to 9. Okay, now we have got b squared is equals to 9. Then we root both sides. Then b is equals to root of 9, which is equals to 3. Now, this has to be plus or minus 3. Now, when it's plus minus 3, what should we do now in that case? Because we're told that determine the values of b. Values, from the word values, it means that it has to be 2 values. So it's going to be plus minus 3. Remember, a root give us 2 values. Okay, now let's move on to b. Point A, root 5 lies on the circle, which is that x squared plus y squared is equals to 21. Now, in this case here, we are told to find the value of a, but what do we know now? We know that r squared is equals to 21. What is our a? Our a is the one that we want. So we are saying y is equals to root 5. Then our x is equals to a. Now, what do? We substitute there to find what? To find a. We're going to say a squared plus, what is our y? 5 squared should give us 21. Now, what is this that we're going to get here? We're going to get a squared. Now, 21 root of 5 squared is going to give us 5. Is this going to be 21 minus 5? Now, what is 21 minus 5? I think you get 16 there. Now, it's going to be a squared is going to be equals to 16. A is going to be equals to root of 16. Whenever you have root, you have to find 2 values, plus minus what? Plus minus 4. Why are we saying that? Because if we say if we say minus 4 squared, we get the same answer, which is 16. That's why we are saying it has to be plus minus as your answer there. Okay, let's give us those values that they need. Now let's move on to the next one, which is the last one. P, which is -5, 12, lies on the circle with center the origin. Determine the equation of the circle. What do we know now? We know that if we want that equation, we're going to find r squared, r first. Then we're going to say r squared is going to be x squared plus y squared. What is x squared? -5 squared plus what is 12 squared. What do we get here? What do we get? Let's punch our calculator. It's going to be -5 squared plus 12 squared. What do we get? We get 169. Okay, now what do we know now? We have 169. We're going to say now the equation of the circle is x squared plus y squared is equals to 169. That's our first answer there. Remember here where I'm putting the bracket in as a negative. Always remember that you must always put that negative in the bracket, because if you don't put negative in the bracket, for example here, let me say I don't put the bracket. What will happen? Let's see. what will happen, what you'll get here as an answer. You get 119 instead of getting 169. So it shows that bracket is very much important, if especially when you're dealing with negative values. Okay. Now let's move on to B. Determine the coordinates of Q. So PQ, if PQ is a diameter. If PQ is a diameter. Okay. Now we want to see that we are told that PQ is a diameter. And if it is a diameter, what must we do now? We know that our medium, our radius, we already have it, which is 169. Okay, what must we do now? What must we do? Okay, I want to show you something here. Let's just draw a sketch here, quick sketch. Let's have a circle. And this is our origin. And we are saying the point on the circle, which is P. So P, let's just put P here and say this P here, or let's put P here and say it's -5 and 12. Okay, that's our P up here. Now we are saying this, it has to pass the center to the other side, which we'll find as what? As Q. So Q, let's put the coordinates for Q as X and Y. As X and Y. Now, here, now what are we going to do now? We know that this origin is your midpoint for PQ. Origin is the midpoint for PQ. So how do we get the midpoint here? So I'm just going to show you the midpoint formula is X 1 plus X2 over 2 Y 1 plus Y2 over 2. Now, in this case, what we're having now, we are going to add, in terms of X, to say we are having the midpoint is 0, 0. So we're going to say -5 plus X over 2 in bracket. Then what do we have? 12 plus Y over 2 must give us 0 and 0. That's what we are saying here, because the midpoint is a 0. Now, what do we do now? We know that this should be equal to 0, which is this one, and also the Y must also be equal to 0. So we'll say -5 plus X over 2 is equal to 0. We want to solve for X. We take the 2, that side is going to give us 0. Then X is going to give us 5 there. Okay. What about in terms of Y? 12 plus Y over 2 is equal to 0. We take the 2, that is going to give us 0. Y is going to be equal to -12. Okay. That's what we get there. So it means that the coordinate for Q is going to be equals to 5 and -12. Okay. That's what we are saying here. It's going to be 5 and -12. Now, they're going to say, show that the point M0, what is it? -13 lies on the circle. How would you tell that a point lies on the circle? How would you tell that a point lies on the circle? It means that if you are to substitute in the equation, it must give you 169. So if, for example, here, let's say here is going to be what? Let's move on to C, okay? We know that X squared plus Y squared is going to give us 169 on that equation. What is our X squared? Is 0 plus what is our, is going to be -13, okay, squared. This should give us what? This should give us, what does it give us? -13. We close there. Then it gives us 169. So therefore, it lies on the second. So that's how you prove that the point lies on the second. Then show that PMQ is equal to 90. We want to see that PMQ is equal to 90. PMQ is equal to 90. We want to see if it is true. How do we tell that a certain what we call it's 90. How do we tell that? Okay, so when I show that P, which is M, and M should be somewhere here. Sorry, M should be somewhere this side here, because 0 in terms of X and negative 13 is somewhere at this point. Okay, we are told that we want to find that this is equal, this is going to give us 90 degrees. So it's more like this. Okay, so want to see if it's 90 degrees. But now, how would you tell that if PMQ for PMQ to be equal to 90, it means that your PM is perpendicular to MQ. So what do we know about the relationship of perpendicular lines? We know that M, they are gradients, MPM times MQ must give us -1. So that's what we know. So what are we going to do now? We're going to find the gradient for PM. Okay, gradient for PM, gradient of PM is going to be equals to change in what? You know that is change in X, change in Y over change in X. What are we going to get there for PM? P and M, we've got P is -5 and 12. Then M is 0 and -13. Okay. Then Q, we already find it. Q, just find it now. And we find this 5 and -12. Okay. Now, what do we do now? Change in Y over change in X. What is our change in X for PM? Change in Y, sorry. We're going to say -13 minus 12 over 0 minus 5. What do we get there? Okay, so we're gonna say, okay, let's put it like this now. Sorry, we're gonna say -13, -12 over 5, which will get there. We get -5. So our answer there is -5 for the gradient of MPM. What about MQ? What do we get for that gradient? Change in Y over change in X. What do we get there? We're going to say for MQ, we're going to say -12 minus, then we have got minus what? -13, okay? Would you say 5, yeah, -1, okay? What do we, or -0, sorry. Then what do we get there? -12 plus 13, we get 1. So we get 1 over 5. So now what does it mean now? It means that MPM times MQ is going to be equal to -5 times 1 over 5. And when you multiply these two, they give you -1. So you have already proved that it's actually those two are perpendicular. They have got an angle of 90. So that's how you prove, guys, that is perpendicular. You prove using the gradients. Okay. Thank you so much. That's the first part of the circles.